Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, gamers, geezers, geeks, and nerds alike, it's this week's Monkey Nut Punch podcast, and as you can hear, I sound rather calm. Next to me is the rather excitable Keith. Hello, Keith.
Hello! Oh, that worked. See, I got it right this week.
You did. You did actually get it right.
That's the first.
It is. It's weird we're doing the I can't, because I can't see you, but it looks like I'm looking at you. But
yeah, Kevin. But yeah. I would, because you're kind of that way on my screen, I would turn that way, but I thought about it this way. I think, it's the opposite.
Yeah, it is.
Anyway, hi.
It's a great visual gag for those listening to the podcast. I'd just like to point out.
Come watch
hi,
us
Steve.
live.
Hi, Biffa.
Come join in on the old chat. Yeah, if you're listening on the podcast, come watch us on live on Sundays.
Yes. I was supposed to do a few more pervy videos, but she never got around to doing. Now I think about it, I was supposed to do Sydney Sweeney.
We'll get it done. I'll find some pictures. I'll enjoy that assignment.
You dirty old man. All right, so to summarise this week's podcast, we've got 5 news stories this time round.
5
news stories.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the Fallout TV show. I also watched Godzilla times King Kong. Don't ask me whether it's X King Kong. Godzilla and King Kong, it would have worked, or ampersand or plus. And we have got the Goblet of Fire because we get back to the Harry Potter film saga. And I made sure I watched it just before I started, so it's all fresh in my memory.
Same here.
So, I think we should get on with our first news story. What one should I do? I think I will do... Yeah, I'll do this one. The Night Manager. All fans of espionage thriller The Night Manager, the critically acclaimed series based on the John le Carré novel, is making a comeback. Not just 1, but 2 more seasons. The series, which was originally aired in 2016, saw Tom Hiddleston in the role of Jonathan Pine, going head-to-head with an arms dealer, Richard Roper, played by Hugh Laurie. With the BBC team teaming up with Amazon for the upcoming season, expectations are high. Tom Hiddleston is set to reprise his role. We're eager to see how the story evolves, set 8 years after the events of the first season. Crikey, 2016.
Yeah, I'd given up hope.
Wow.
I mean, it was hugely popular at the time. I've watched it several times because it is genuinely a really good piece of television. And I'd given up hope. I mean, there'd been talk for months and years about bringing it back, and then it kind of went quiet. And this suddenly came out the blue yesterday. I was like, oh, shit! And not only are we getting 1 season, we're getting 2 seasons. If you haven't figured that out already, I was a huge fan of The Night Manager. The only thing it hasn't mentioned, and I want, is that they've got to bring Olivia Colman back as well, because she was brilliant in this as well. It wasn't just Hiddleston, it was the pair of them. She worked well as the no-nonsense sort of spy boss. And I think we need her back. I think we need her back along. As long as you bring her and Hiddleston back, it works. But I think you need both of them.
Okay. I never saw The Night Manager.
You've never seen The Night Manager?
Never seen The Night Manager.
It's really good. Like, it is genuinely really good. Hugh Laurie plays this smarmy wanker, but he does it very, very well. It is good. It's the first time I saw the woman that played Diana in The Crown, and she's in this as well, and she's quite good in this. And it's got Tom Hollander, but not the Tom Hollander, another Tom Hollander, who accidentally received a bonus check that was of the Tom Hollander's check, and it was like millions, and he gave it back.
Wow.
If you know, yeah, they sent Tom Hollander, but not the right Tom Hollander, a bonus check, and it was fucking millions. So,
oh dear.
Yeah.
It's I never seen it. Everyone always described it as Tom Hiddleston's audition for James Bond.
Yeah,
that's always I referred it to. Like Layer Cake was Daniel Craig's audition for James Bond. If that makes any sense.
And if you watch it, you'll understand why people then said, "Yeah, he could play James Bond." It's then 6 hours of really genuinely gripping TV. If you like sort of spy espionage stuff, this was fucking good. So I had given up hope, but when I saw this yesterday, I was like, oh, this is good. So I think this generally might be good TV, but it depends if Amazon screw with it, or you know, this is 8 years on. My only concern is 8 years on. 8 years, you know, where there aren't writers anymore; they're just activists. So who knows?
It's John le Carre. So it's based on what do you call it? It's based on one of the things that he's done. Then there's not, you know, there shouldn't be much wiggle room. But you never know.
BBC. I mean, you know, everyone was really excited when Russell T Davies was announced to be coming back to Doctor Who, and we didn't get Russell T Davies, the amazing writer. We got Russell T Davies, the idiotic activist. So, yes.
Okay.
Anyway.
All right. So I might have to go and watch The Night Manager, if that's the case.
I think you'd enjoy it. I think you would quite enjoy it. It's good TV.
Okay. All right. Well, I haven't got much to say on it because I haven't seen it, so it's coming back.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. Moving.
Hi, this is Nigel, and I'm talking in my lovely narrator's voice. Bask in its loveliness, but don't bask for too long. We need your help. Come to YouTube and watch our videos for the love of God. Well, send Keith round to your next barbecue and he'll eat all your food. Toasty! You have been warned.
The world of movie marketing, particularly focusing on the upcoming Marvel film Deadpool and Wolverine, has already stirred up the pot with promotion tactics reminiscent of the viral Dune popcorn bucket. Kevin Feige, the mastermind, that's a lie. The mastermind behind the MCU has teased the promotional item for Deadpool 3. Basically, not a Dune bucket. I turned around and said it looked like a scary fleshlight.
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
They're going with that. You couldn't find a picture, could you, Keith?
I found. Hang on. I found.
Did you?
Hang on. Yeah.
Because on this, I think because I've got the ad block on, I think it's actually blocked it.
Hang on.
Yeah.
So I found this.
Okay,
so you can add this. That's the IGN, but I don't think that's the final bucket. But I think if they have something like that, it's genius. But it's I want them to take the piss out of the Dune 2 whilst making it as crude as possible. So if they go with something like this, I think it's genius. But I bought the bucket. Actually, the bucket itself without the lid is actually quite a nice metal bucket, and you know it's kind of cool with the Dune. I just bought it because it was a weird collector's item that everybody was banging on about. But now I've got to buy the Deadpool one, which is actually genius. Because there's going to be many nerds like me that bought the Deadpool 2 one I bought the Dune 2 one as a bit of a novelty because everybody's banging on about it on social media. And then Deadpool's come along and gone, okay, we're going to make a crude version of that. Every motherfucker's going to go, oh God, now I've got to buy that one. It's kind of genius. It's kind of genius.
I'm shocked and horrified all at the same time because it's. I'm waiting for Ryan Reynolds to put out an Instagram reel, and it's gonna be he's gonna be standing up and he's just gonna have the bucket like floating over his crutch area.
Oh, probably.
And he'll be like, "What? What am I doing?" You know that's gonna happen or something along those lines.
And I'm kind of there for it. I am actually looking forward to Deadpool 3. I think it's going to be the one and only Marvel movie that I'm going to enjoy anytime soon. So I'm up for this is the one movie I'm looking forward to.
I,
I,
I, I, I'm, I'm, I don't know. I've had the rug pulled on me quite a few
yes,
times recently. So part of me's like, kind of, don't do it, Gareth. It's not worth it. Remember Starfield? Everyone was really excited for Starfield, apart from you. You were
yep,
right. And
yep.
I'm thinking that this may be the third best Deadpool movie.
I don't know. The trailer made me laugh. The trailer was very good.
Mm-hmm.
It does have like the Loki looking TVA in it.
Yeah, they actually look better than the TVA from the Loki series. At some
Yeah,
point out. Matthew
yes.
McFadden as the TVA representative does a really good job.
I don't think they've dicked with this movie that much, because I think if they did, the uproar would be immense. I mean, come on. Disney, if they fuck with this movie, if this movie is a flop, they are, well, I already think they are done for, but if this movie flops, then God forbid what were the backlash, because there are a lot of passionate Deadpool fans out there, and if Disney-fy this, they're in trouble. I mean, they're already in trouble, but I mean, they fucked up the Star Wars. I mean, they released a trailer to the Jude Law. I can't even remember what the bloody series is called. They released the Jude Law trailer. No one's watched it. I didn't even know it was out, and I'm not that interested to go and see it. Me, the supposed Star Wars fanatic, can't be asked to go and see it.
The dead captain,
I don't even remember the name of it, but I just don't care. The only thing that I'm going to watch is Andor, only because it was different. But I think Deadpool will be good, is what I'm saying. I think Deadpool could genuinely be quite good.
I'm just gonna be cautious. I think it's the best thing to do, because I think I'm just. It's just, man. I've seen so many things fucked up. So many things, easy things that's just fucked up because someone's done it. It's like kind of.
I'm with you, brother. I am with you. I suppose I'm more optimistic about Deadpool because I need at least one movie to look forward to this year. So I'm pinning my hopes on Deadpool 3. If it's not, then you're going to get angry ranting Keith in the next thing. But I secretly think that they might have been allowed, because I kind of trust Ryan Reynolds. And this has been his baby. And Ryan Reynolds is not a wokey woke. I mean, he doesn't get involved in these conversations. He deliberately doesn't, get involved in all this shit. And that's unusual for Hollywood actors. And he kind of stays away from this. So I think he's a pretty level-headed guy. So I'm quietly optimistic about this one. But look, I could be wrong. It could be a pile of fucking donkey droppings. And therefore Marvel is very much done.
Yeah. Next story. A word's too much for you? Then you should follow us on Instagram. We put pretty pictures out. I need to get back to doing that. Star Trek Strange New Worlds has been renewed for a 4th season, continuing its exploration with Captain Christopher Pike and the USS Enterprise. On the other side, Star Trek Lower Decks, the franchise's first animated comedy, is set to conclude with its 5th season. 5th season? 5? How the fuck did it get to 5?
Well, apparently, now, I can't believe I'm going to do this. Apparently, season 3 was better, and apparently season 4 was actually very Trek-like. Apparently. I've seen a couple of videos recently where there are Trekkies that share my opinion about Star Trek who have said, actually, Lower Decks kind of turned into a homage for the next gen, and said that season 4 was actually quite good. I'm gonna go and watch a couple of episodes to see if it's true or not. Discovery has really, really annoyed me
How has
because
it annoyed you?
season 5 is doing something that I wished that they had covered in either Voyager or Deep Space Nine.
Oh
because
God, no, no, you didn't. If you're
Yes,
talking
I
about the
did.
progenitor arc,
I
no, you didn't.
always wanted them to do.
No,
do,
you didn't.
do Yes, I did. Yes, I
No,
did. It's
no,
always
you
bothered
didn't.
me
No,
that.
you
I liked-
didn't. Yeah.
Yes, I
I
did.
bet you probably wanted. I bet you probably wanted the origin of the Borg more than you did, or what happened to the Voyager space probe more
I
than you did that
always
progenitor
wanted them
arc.
to explore the progenitors more. It's always every time I watch that episode, it's like, why did they never explore this further? Why was this a one and done episode? No, it's true. I even thought about it last year when I rewatched all of Next Gen. I think it was like the year before last when I did a whole Next Gen watch through, and I wanted them to, I again watched the progenitor episode. It's like, why did they never do anything? And it's just this fucking Discovery that's doing it. It's really
There isn't much
annoying.
to do with the progenitor thing. I'll be honest with you.
I don't know. I haven't watched.
Find them. Oh, we found them.
Yeah.
There you go. Mystery over.
I don't know. I just wish that had been explored further. But Discovery is. Okay, I'm going to say something. I don't want either of these. I want fucking Legacy. But I kind of understand why Strange New Worlds has been renewed. Kind of. It is much more popular than Discovery. It is. Season 2 was dreadful. There were a couple of good episodes in there. So I wonder. I'm gonna say this again because I didn't think we were going to get a season 3. We got a season 3. Season 3 better be better than season 2 because if it performs the same as season 3, I'll be surprised if we see this season 4. Just putting it out there.
Well, it's been renewed for a 4th season, mate. So
yes, but so there's a lot of things that get renewed and then don't get made. What was that thing?
We've still got the Section 31 movie, and then we've got Hogwarts Star Trek Academy.
Hogwarts.
Because that's what they'll make it. It'll be more like bloody Hogwarts than it will be Starfleet Academy.
The lead character is Tilly. It's going to last a season.
Why? Why is she the lead character? She's an instructor, maybe. What the fuck is she going to instruct? Eating Cadbury's cream eggs?
Because these people that make Star Trek have got a boner for Discovery, right? And it got cancelled because it wasn't popular. So the only way they can bring it back is it's secretly rebadged as this. The thing is, Discovery is objectively terrible, right? You have Berman, who constantly has to, sort of placate her crew going, well done, good job. She does it all the fucking time. Show me when Janeway ever did it. Show me when Janeway ever sort of would say, oh, well done, every fucking episode. There's constant positive affirmation in Discovery. It is objectively bad. But I can see why Strange New Worlds is more popular. The characters, at least it's got characterization. It does, right? At least there's more than one fucking character that people care about. I'm not that I care about any of the characters in Discovery, but I can understand why Strange New Worlds is more popular. But I'd cancel the whole fucking lot and make Legacy if I had any choice. Because you can make it for half the fucking money, a quarter of the money, and you'll probably get more people viewing it. Amazon want it. Amazon want it because season 3 was one of their best performing science fiction things of all time. Fucking outperformed The Boys, if rumors are true.
Yeah. Well, The Boys last season wasn't that good. Invincible was much better watch. Do they not like money? Do you not like money? Do you want money? Guys, please tell me how this makes business sense. You've got something that everyone liked. Why are you not going towards the thing that people like? Yeah, if it's your ideology, then fire them all. Fire them all. There are so many people clambering to get into Hollywood. You could fire all of them, and I mean all of them. The first person who pipes up, gone, you're out the door. Boom, you're out the door. I've got people to replace you. I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense. It's nonsense.
Strange New Worlds, even though season 2 was bad, rumors are it performed reasonably well. and a lot more Trekkies like Strange New Worlds than old school Trekkies like Strange New Worlds. Strange New Worlds does resonate with the fan base far more than Discovery does, the original fan base. Regardless of, the first episode, although most Trekkies say the first episode, season 2, was terrible, it is. There are some good episodes in there. The final episode was actually quite fucking good, even though they shoehorned yet another fucking classic character in there that we didn't really need. But it was a good episode. You have Anson Mount, who is incredibly charismatic and works as a captain. He works as a Star Trek captain, and he, more than any of the other new series captains, has earned the right to stand next to Kirk and all the others, because he's a good actor, and his captain works when he's allowed to. When the writing allows him to be the captain, it works. But season 2 was not that good, so they have got to massively improve season 3. If they do that, then season 4 will get made. The rumor is that they are. The musical episode is always going to divide the fan base. I didn't like it. I thought the Klingon boy band was dreadful. But
my God! No, there's no defending that.
But there is, and there isn't, because you look at the Buffy episode. The same thing happened in the Buffy episode. But
Star Trek is not Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Keith. One is aimed at a teenage audience. The other one is aimed at bloody family/adults.
I'm trying to...
But Buffy did you a favour too, because I had an episode with complete silence. So you could wash your palate with a complete silence episode.
This is true, but I
didn't even watch Buffy.
I'm with you. I hated the fucking musical episode, and I don't think it belonged in Star Trek, but there is a lot of people that liked it, and there's no arguing with them. They liked it. So if they liked it, they liked it.
I bet you more people liked the last episode, Star Trek Picard season 3, than they did that.
Oh yeah, but look, Star Trek Picard season 3 outperformed Strange New Worlds. We know it did, right? Amazon know it did. It's why Amazon are not carrying Strange New Worlds, and they carried Picard. Picard costs a lot less money to make. Part of the problem with Strange New World is they spend ridiculous money on stupid sets that are not needed. I mean, we're getting this new science deck thing that's got like a fucking tank of real water underneath. God knows how much money that cost to build that set, but it's going to be millions, right? For a company that's losing money. So no, you're absolutely right. And I think they could make Legacy for half the fucking budget that they make Strange New Worlds for, and they could make money on it. I do not get it. But I don't get the amount of money they spend on the show, and I've always been critical of the sets that they use. They're way too big. They don't work as a starship, and the trouble is the production is almost glossy, and yet they spent no money on Picard, and you can tell that like the production value is way down on Picard. There had hardly any sets in Picard season 3, and yet it's the best new damn Trek in 20 years. I mean, was it perfect? No, but it was Trek. But there are moments in Strange New Worlds that it does have its moments, and I can understand. I understand more why Strange New Worlds is popular than Discovery. I don't understand anyone that likes Discovery. I just don't get it. I mean, I don't. There are people that tell me I'm a Star Trek fan and I like Discovery, and I don't get it, because the ship designs are terrible. The ship's not even a character. At least in Strange New Worlds, the Enterprise is a fucking character. Right, but Discovery isn't a character in Discovery. The ships are terrible. I mean, they've got a ship in it that is blatantly a fucking flying sword thing from Halo. I mean, that's what it is, and they're terrible. They're terrible. And Discovery destroyed the Federation. They turned Earth into a bunch of isolationists. How is this the utopia that Gene Roddenberry dreamed of? Right. So again, if you're a true Trekkie, you shouldn't like Discovery, because it's not real Star Trek. And I don't get people who like it. I'm sorry. I just don't understand it. I don't get it. It's so bad.
All right. So, Michael Burnham makes me think of this.
We were just discussing ideas of what to do with the new Prince Eric movie.
Put a chick in it. Make her gay.
Well, that maybe we should go a different route than we did with Indiana Jones.
Fuck Indiana Jones. Put a chick in it and make her name it gay.
Brilliant. Thank
Just
you.
saying.
Yep.
I wonder. Oh, that's not good. Until they stop, it's not doing that. So, news from the world of kaijus and streaming series. Apple TV Plus and Legendary have announced not just a renewal of Monarch Legacy of Monsters for a second season, but also the expansion of the MonsterVerse partnership to include spin-offs. This development follows the box office success of Godzilla times Kong: The New Empire, and points to a growing appetite for more of these iconic monsters. I don't think it's an appetite for these iconic monsters. I think that when you have two giant monsters fighting each other, there's not room for this stupid politics nonsense. There really isn't. Yeah.
And other than the lesbian in Monarch Legacy Monsters, it was pretty much none of that. I mean, a lot of people didn't like Monarch. I kind of enjoyed it. And I thought the final was cool because you got Godzilla comes in and saves the day. Yeah, I enjoyed it. And at the end, we get Monster Smash. Godzilla turns up and saves the fucking day, beats the shit out of a flying fucking birdie thing, right? But maybe have killed Kurt Russell. Don't know yet. I don't think Kurt Russell's dead. Got to bring him back. But no, it was cool. It was good. Hot chicks as well. Okay, the lesbianism was a bit fucking, but there were moments. I kind of enjoyed it. I thought it was watchable. It was entertaining. It was watchable. But yeah. Anyway, I'm up for this. I'm up for more Monster Smash, Monkey Smash.
Monkey Punch is big. I watched. I said before we started, I watched Godzilla times King Kong, and it's Godzilla times King Kong, and as I said to you, guys, it was stupid, poorly written, not much character development, and it just really comprised of big monsters beating the shit out of each other. And I really enjoyed it because there's no room for any of that stupid politics or anything like that. And I love Godzilla -1. It's one of the best films of all times, but I can also enjoy this for the just sheer simplicity that we can have in films. Yes, it was. I enjoyed it. I watched it with my mate Carl. I had to get an early showing. It was really weird. I had to get like a showing at 5:20, and it kind of it was weird because it's they were upgrading Kong, so he got like a gauntlet thing, and they like pumped him full of a tooth, and it was just big monkey smash, big lizard in city destroying things. And I enjoyed it. And it was more monsters than it was people. And it didn't have Millie Bobby Brown in it, which was a bonus. Because she's
really annoying now.
She's got incredibly obnoxious to the point that it's like it's a detriment to films now. Before, yes, but now she's like, oh God, just keep her away for the love of God.
No, she got introduced to Hollywood when she was young, and she's become like so many other child stars, an obnoxious bitch. And she is, and I don't want to say it, but it's true. When she was you see her when she had that blonde hair and the interviews of her, and it was just like, you really are so obnoxious. This is the problem with Hollywood when you're surrounded by people who say, "Oh, you're amazing all the time." All this positive fucking whatever you call it, right? All the time from Hollywood. This is what it does.
Yeah,
but you're right about Godzilla. You're right.
But there's a couple of bits where King Kong looks like he's about to go to work on a building site. He's got like an axe and he keeps throwing it across his shoulder, and it gives me the impression he just needs a hard hat and a high vis jacket that he'd just be it's like a shovel or something, so we go do it. Hang on a second. We'll get to that with the comments. There is one bit I was laughing my head off at the cinema, where fuck it, I'll say it because King Kong, there's like supposed to be son of Kong, kind of like little baby monkey in it, and he's fighting these three gorillas, one of them being this little monkey thing, and he just picks him up and uses him as a club. It's brilliant. It made me laugh because he's just like throwing him around like he's the axe, just beating the crap out of all the other giant monkeys. And it gave me a big old grin on my face when I was watching it because it was just, as I said, it was just dumb. Yeah. Sometimes I need dumb.
Some movies, when they're done right, sounds weird, actually do the reverse thing. they put a smile on your face. Dumb movies can be good. Independence Day 1, dumb movie, but brilliant.
Mm.
In fact, that could be said of most of these movies. Didn't like. Unfortunately, Independence Day 2 was too dumb. But Independence Day is a movie, brilliant. But it is a dumb movie. So no, I understand exactly what you mean by dumb movies, and I think most of the Monarch movies have been dumb movies. But you know, the last couple have been dumb enough but enjoyable. I mean, you mentioned Fast and the Furious. I love those movies. They are dumb movies.
It's literally guys in the production meeting with cars going, and then smash, and that's all they're doing.
It's guys that played with Matchbox toys when they were smaller that are allowed to write fucking movies and never really grown out of that. And again, don't give a shit. It's awesome. So yeah,
okay. Yeah. But yeah, no, I enjoyed that, and I recommend if you want something dumb, and I genuinely mean, you want something dumb to watch, which you'll enjoy. Yeah, it'll be that. Right, so hang on a second. Got to get more notes up. So where was it? Star Trek. Okay. Star Trek Origins movie is officially moving forward. Whilst the excitement builds for another installment in the Star Trek universe, there's also some concerns worth discussing. With director Toby Haynes, is that the Toby Haynes who did like a ton of Doctor Who's and Sherlock's?
Don't know.
Okay, I'll check. I'm gonna search for that. Search the web for Toby Haynes. I want to see if it is the guy. But yeah, BAFTA, Black Mirror, Sherlock. Yeah, it is that Toby Haynes. And written by Seth Graham Smith, the movie is set to explore the decades before the events of the 2009 Star Trek film, potentially detailing the early days of Starfleet and the United Federations of Planets. I think we've already had this. I think it was called Star Trek Enterprise, wasn't it? Am I wrong in saying that?
The rumor is it's going to be Robert April, who was the original captain of the Enterprise when it launched, apparently. I don't know. It's not anything anybody called for. Would you stop making movies and make fucking legacy? I don't understand why they keep making prequels. I mean, it's been fucking 20 years since Enterprise, and Enterprise was kind of good, but people didn't want a prequel. They made like the J.J. Abrams movies. They only managed to make 3 because people didn't want a prequel. They had to literally put Discovery in the future because people didn't want a prequel. They're making Strange New Worlds. When are these fucking morons going to learn? Just make legacy. It's like I need to go out and bang my head against a brick wall because it just I do the intelligence of these people.
Right. What are people when it comes to Star Trek? Let's be dull. What are people asking for in Star Trek? They want
Star Trek.
They want Star Trek, yeah. So what then comes into what Star Trek do you want? Do you want, end of after Undiscovered Country Star Trek, or do you want after? Was it Voyager or Deep Space Nine? I don't know which one finished last.
Voyager.
After Voyager.
And we kind of got that with Picard season 3. I mean, technically we got that with Picard season 1 and 2, but we don't talk about that. But we got that with Picard. We genuinely got that with Picard season 3, and the ending of that opened the door to something a lot of people want to see. You've got. I actually think Picard's son is quite an interesting character, and I think you can do stories around that. You kind of introduced Q there. You've got Captain 7 of 9. That again could be interesting because she's not a straightforward choice, and you could have her struggling and dealing with the crew. That could be interesting. I don't think we need Raffi. Raffi can fuck off. But you could then float characters in. You could bring in all these legacy characters that could help and mold 7. And of course, you can bring in Janeway. You can bring in all of these characters and make something interesting that continues the story. You could bring in a new baddie. You could genuinely introduce a new bad guy, right, and do something interesting. Don't do Section 31. That obsession with Section 31 is just ridiculous. Just bring in something new and interesting. And you don't need to have a legacy character every week, but you could just bring in those guys. He's clearly got an idea, right? Why don't we do it? I mean, I still hear people talking about this a year and a half on, and you had that fucking moron, what's his face, Kurtzman, who said, "Oh, we've heard you." Well, then where's the announcement?
Oh, we've heard you and we've ignored you.
We're making Star Trek Academy, which no one wants, and we're gonna put the biggest set that we've ever built on there. So how many millions have you spent on that? I mean, you probably spent the entire budget of Legacy on that fucking set by the sounds of it. And it's like, why? It's going to make one season. No one's going to watch this. It's going to be the same bloody people that watch this, that watch Discovery. You cancelled Discovery after season 5. Why? Because not that many people were watching it. And now we're getting a movie that no one asked for about the origins of the Enterprise. I don't need another fucking prequel.
I think if you said, Gareth, do a movie of Star Trek, and we want to make sure that you're no, actually, Gareth, do a movie of Star Trek, but think like one of the lazy producers that currently exist. I tell him, go, okay, cool. What we'll do is we will reboot The Next Generation, and we will start off with a Battle of Wolf 365.
365.
Come on, that's what they do. You know that they do that, wouldn't you?
It's 359, by the way.
Oh, fucking 835-431-201-932.
Wolf 359 is a real place.
5.
It's a real star. But yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
I'm trying to think of what would the laziest writer do? Because it's like kind of what would the most. My first thing to go to is what were the most popular episodes of Star Trek. Can't really do Star Trek because Strange New Worlds did that, and Discovery first 2 seasons kind of did that. Yeah, so I can't really do that. So I have to plumb the depths of Next Generation first, then Deep Space Nine, then Voyager. Yeah, so I'd be looking at them. It's like, I don't know. Why don't you have it? Right, okay. Star Trek, yeah. It's set just after what do you call it? After the what do you call it? Picard season 3. So they've had Fleet Day, blah blah blah. Managed to get all their shit back together, and as they were rebuilding their fleet, they also managed, yeah, to improve the warp drive so they can travel further. Or they find a wormhole that leads to a whole new galaxy that they can explore that hasn't been touched. Something along those lines.
Yeah,
that's just.
No, but that's what they're probably. I bet he's done something like that. He had an idea, and again, and I think he, just give him the goddamn keys. I don't get it. Why don't you announce we're going to make Legacy in 2026? But now I know. Right up until 2027, we're not going to get Legacy because they've already announced season 4 of Strange New Worlds. Although, again, I will remain skeptical on it because season 2 actually did damage it a bit, I think. So season 3's got to come out the fucking door, batting well, or we're screwed, or they're screwed with that. I do look. I'm going to have to go and watch some more of the cartoon one again because people are saying that actually season 4 was pretty good. I watched the first episode, which was a homage to Voyager, and it was terrible. I think it's not my thing.
Do you know, I've got it. Right. The way they think, we do the way they think is what's popular with Star Trek. We just do the opposite. They're like exploring deep space. Yeah. So what we'll do is we'll strand them on a planet, so they can't go anywhere.
Because
for 7 seasons.
Kurtzman's never understood Star Trek. I mean, that's why
hang on a second.
With the Klingons.
They what do you call it? They strand them on a planet so they can't go anywhere. Yeah, we'll put the Enterprise underwater so they can't even leave the confines of the Enterprise. Yeah, we'll make it a young adult drama.
Oh, are you going to throw a talking dolphin in there as well?
Hang on a second. Sequest DSV moved.
Sequest went into space. He got that shit.
Even they went into space more. They did more fucking traveling to unknown places than
Sequest
anyway.
history went into space. I actually kind of like Sequest history, so I'm going to leave that one alone.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I know what you mean.
And
I tell you
and
what,
this
though.
giant sentient turd called Kurtzman.
Yeah, there was. I mean, I sent you one more news story. There is one interesting thing to come out of Paramount. Have you got that news story?
Well, I've got that. Yeah, it's here. Ready? Here we go. So
yeah.
Following the success of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem, the franchise is taking a bold step with an R-rated live-action film based on the Last Ronin miniseries. This move represents a significant tonal shift, typical adolescence humour to a more darker tone. Look, the long and short of it is, it's... Oh, God, do I ruin it? Because I can ruin this quite easily. All right, so it's... You know what the Foot's called the Foot, don't you?
Yes. I know the comic series they're talking about.
No. You know what the Foot Clan's called the Foot Clan, don't you?
If I remember rightly, yes.
Go on, tell me why. I'll tell you why, and then I'll tell you where this needs to go.
Because now I do know this, but I can't remember it. But go on. I know
the Foot is called the Foot is called the Foot Clan because Daredevil fights the Hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the same stuff that blinded Daredevil is the stuff that mutated the Ninja Turtles. Did you know that? That's how it's supposed to be, if they can get away with it. Yeah? So, if you're going to do a darker thing, you need to aim for Netflix's Daredevil Season 1 and 2 for it to work. Yeah? Because there's one turtle left. I don't want to ruin who it is. Because I know who it is. And,
I think an R-rated Turtles movie could work.
But if you make it like Daredevil... Yes. It has to be like the Daredevil TV series. That's the only way it works.
You could just have it a bit more. You could have it a bit more violent. But you need to keep some humor there. You do need.
No.
That's
not the Last Ronin. That's pretty humorless.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. I was intrigued by this. It can go one of two ways for me. I liked season 2 of Deadpool on Netflix. Not the biggest fan of Daredevil. I'm not the biggest fan of season 1 or 3 of what they did, but I liked season 2. I don't know. I know the Last Ronin thing, but I think if you put the violence in there, you have the turtles actually doing proper kicking the shit out of stuff. But I think you can make a... Sorry?
It's only one turtle. The other 3 are dead. That's why it's called The Last Ronin.
I know.
Because only one of them survives.
Let's see what they do. Let's see what they do. But if you could... Yeah, I don't know. Anyway. Right. Are we going to do the chat?
Yeah, hang on. I just ruined The Last Ronin in the chat for Keith. If he looks. All right, so let's look at the chat. So, time for the music. Hi, Steve. Last time you were probably watching Chuck's stream where he was looking at the sun and going, "Ah, it hurts."
Right.
Hi, Biffa. Hello. And there's the man who was looking directly at the sun. He had glasses and ND filters and all that stuff, yeah. Nigel is ginger and small and hiding in forest nearby. Oh no, Angry Keith ran. Oh, the shock. The horror. Oh. Star Trek Strange New World. Strange New World. Oh, bollocks. No more glitter. No karaoke nonsense. Yes, I'm with you on that. With the whole... Yeah.
Yeah, agreed.
Yes. So, oh no, sorry, that's an interpersonal chat there. Eric Cartman, lol. Michael Burnham is worse than Tilly. Did you ever watch the episode of Stargate where Carter gets a Stargate, dials a black hole, and then drops it into the sun and destroys the sun?
Yeah.
That's how I feel about those two. They need to be dropped into the core of the star.
Burnham, okay, maybe slightly, but only just. Only just. And we talked about this earlier, didn't we? Kong uses baby. Yeah.
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
it's hilarious. If you get a chance to watch it when it's on like Amazon or something, just fast forward through all the human bits and just go to the big monkey punching lizards and other monkeys. It's that. So Godzilla, King Kong, New Empire is basically the Captain America Civil War for monsters. That's you might have something there. If you watch it, Keith, you'll understand that because there's another Godzilla creature in there that breathes ice.
Okay.
Would make them the Winter Soldier.
I might watch that.
Yeah.
And there needs to be another Deep Space Nine series to depict the warfare of the Dominion War with huge victories and bitter defeats. They did. There's numerous episodes in the last season that were really good. I mean, it's a shame because there was a documentary a few years ago, and if you've never seen it, you should watch it, about what they got most of the crew people back together, and they did a read-through of a season 8 and how it would look, and it was really interesting. Ironically, they killed Nog in the first episode, and that actor tragically passed away a few years ago. And Nog was always one of my more favorite characters, actually. But they kill Nog off at the beginning of season 8. And they blow up the Defiant as well. And then there was this whole new thing, and they were going to bring back Cisco, and the way they did it was really interesting. They have done continuations of Deep Space Nine. I mean, what's her face came back as Kira in the cartoon, in the what's its face below Lower Decks, and they had Nog back and a few of the other characters. But you could do all of this in Legacy. I mean, they touched on the Dominion War in Picard season 3, and again, I like the way they did it. And they showed, these changelings, the way they were created. We created them. Again, I liked that.
The newer changelings, not the original.
Strange New Worlds season 2 tried to mimic an episode of Deep Space Nine where Nog loses his leg, and it's still an amazing episode of Star Trek. I mean, it's not a happy episode of Star Trek, but it is a really powerful episode of Star Trek. And for the life of me, it's the Siege of something. And I can't remember the full name.
Is that the one where you follow Jake Sisko and he's reporting on it, and it's pretty much like trench warfare? Yes,
and it was geniusly done. And I think, and that's what Strange New Worlds tried to do, and didn't get anywhere near it. In terms of tone or quality, again, they just need to improve the writing on Strange New Worlds, and you'd have a hit. But there we go. But we don't need any more Dominion War, in my opinion. We just need a continuation. Now, you could have the changelings in there. You could have repercussions even 20 years on. We could see, I mean, there's definitely been some stuff going on after Picard season 3. But I think it's time, like Gareth said, we need a new bad guy, and this is the perfect time to do it. Take the story in a different direction, but bring back legacy crew. And you've got the story there to do it.
Do you remember an episode of Voyager called Dragon's Teeth?
Which one was that? Remind me, because I think I do, but I can't.
Where they woke up some species on the planet, and they were going to be the new bad guys in Voyager, and then they decided not to do them.
Oh, yes, I do remember that. Yes, I do remember that. But again, you could do that. You could do that. I mean, you could do a lot. I just again, Doctor Who, Trek, Star Wars. Anyway.
Okay.
Right. Let's talk about, what are we going to talk about? Let's talk about Fallout. Let's talk about it, shall we? Because we haven't. We've
Okay,
deliberately not
I'm
really
gonna
spoken.
right because I know what I'm talking about. I'm gonna let you go first. So you
Go
watched
on.
it, yeah?
Yeah, I watched it, and I'm going to be honest. It kept reminding me of Breaking Bad, and the reason I say that is because every time they played those crooning songs, every time they played the crooning songs, and they go through, it's like those weird openings that you got you got them in Better Call Saul as well. You got them in both Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad, and it kept taking me back to that. Though not the series itself, the weird openings that you used to get. They loved doing weird openings in Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, where it would be random shot or random thing, and they'd play this style of crooning music. And I think it was one of the things that really struck me is it was kind of it didn't feel new. It kept reminding me of that, so it felt familiar and not in a good way. And I know it's part of the universe, so this I might be doing it a disservice. And also, I'm sorry. I know she can't help this, but the lead actress's eyes freak me out. They freak me
Poor
out.
Ella Purnell, I think.
I
her
know,
name
but
is.
it freaks me out. I'm sorry, but it just does. It freaks me out.
Poor woman. She's
They're
just
huge. They're abnormally big. And the thing is, 1 second you think she is actually quite attractive in one way, but her eyes like, eh. But okay. I will say that it wasn't girl key to everything like the trailer made it out. So I'll give it that. There were moments that I kind of enjoyed. Thank God they didn't kill the dog, because I was really annoyed when they did when he did that, and then he saves the dog and the dog comes back. That's great. I don't understand the ghouls, but maybe you can explain that to me. I don't know if I missed the explanation of how they are. So maybe you can tell me about that. I didn't really enjoy it. I watched it. It was okay, but it didn't set me alight. It didn't set me on fire. Certainly didn't make me.
I don't want to set the world.
Yes, exactly. I think that was quite kind of apt. It hooked me enough that I'd watch a season 2 purely to know what's happened to the wife, because she's an evil bitch. And I know that it showed New Vegas at the end, which is controversial, I think, if I'm right, because apparently people are complaining about that. But
it's not New Vegas.
Okay.
New Vegas is not the issue.
The reviews have all been rave, and I'm not seeing what they're raving about.
Okay. All right. So, as an adaptation of a video game franchise, did well. Yeah. Could have done better. Kind of misses some of the tone and the atmosphere. And I'll be honest with you, the music that they used doesn't work. Because the music in Fallout always makes you feel like you're wandering a wasteland of sorts, which you didn't quite put across. Got across some of the comedy gore, got across the thing. The most egregious thing in it is how they treated the NCR, which is New Californian Republic, which is like the biggest faction in all of Fallout. Okay, so that's the biggest problem, and the problem is that the TV series is set 2 years before the second Battle of Hoover Dam. Now, if you know anything about that, the NCR fight another group of people called Caesar's Legion at Hoover Dam for control of it, and Mr. House, who controls New Vegas, also fights too. But we never knew who won. It looks like I think it's going to be that. So the problem is the NCR's there in force. Yeah, the NCR are big enough to take on and beat the Brotherhood of Steel. Yeah, so you got these people with big fucking power armor, and all they've got is you saw the guy with they call it Ranger armor, where you've got the guys, you can see they've got red goggles and the big long coat and the helmet and whatnot, and they were big and strong enough to beat the Brotherhood of Steel. Yeah, who've got vertibirds and all this other stuff here, yeah? And they destroyed Shady Sands, even though 2 years in the future, they keep. There's a thing about them politicians and bits in Shady Sands, and it's the same as destroying Coruscant in Star Wars off screen and ending the rebellion. So the biggest faction that existed in the Star Wars universe at the end of Return of the Jedi, gone, and they did that.
Because
Not
Hank, her father, is the
Yeah.
one that sent a nuke there to destroy it.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the
Now,
TV series. Okay, all right.
Now I think right. So the ghouls are people who've been. Now, it's posited. It's not canon, but ghouls are people who are affected with this thing called FEV, forced evolutionary virus, before the war. So most of them are like soldiers or people who worked for Voltec, or West Tech is the other company that's the really dodgy one. People who worked for them had been infected with this FEV thing, yeah? And when it forces an evolutionary change. So you get exposed to radiation, it causes you to adapt to that radiation, yeah? So where he's a ghoul, his body had changed because it's probably because he was a soldier and he probably was given the FEV when he was fighting at the Battle of Alaska against the Chinese. Because he talks about wearing the power armor and the faults and stuff in the necks and this, that, and the other. They didn't touch on the Enclave, which is where Michael Emerson was from. Yeah, the one with the guy with the dogs and whatnot. So that's another faction there. That's the remnants of the government who've got probably most of the cool technology, because they've got power armor and stuff that's been built after with a load of other stuff in there. And they've got access to, basically, yeah, they had the cold fusion thing there, which you just pinched off of them because they couldn't unlock it because it was coded to a Voltec employee. So you got those bits there. The NCR thing bugged the crap out of me through the entire thing, because the NCR should be all over California. They could have gone down the Fallout 76 route and set it in. Oh my god, I can't remember the place. Country Home, Take Me Home, West Virginia. That's it. I had to sing the song to figure out where it was set. They could have done it in West Virginia, and it probably would have worked as well. They got the design and the look was fine. It's annoying because Biff has put in, because it lacked some of the charisma. The guy who was from the Brotherhood of Steel, really poor bit of casting. Couldn't give two shits about him. Really bad. Walter Goggins as a ghoul works. Ella Purnell almost works. The woman who gets the fork in her eye, more notable than most other characters in there. They don't kind of stick out as much. And the worst thing is that Michael Emerson's character seems very similar to some of the characters from a place called the Institute, which is on the other coast, which would have been much more interesting, because that's what's left of Massachusetts Institute of Technology. So, and they've got access to teleportation and synths and ray guns and tons of things that aren't quite there. It's okay. It's okay, apart from the massive continuity error.
It wasn't full of modern day Hollywood politics, which I was surprised by. So I'll give it that. Although there was almost a hint of a lesbian relationship between the leader and the mother, the zombie. But there were moments. I liked what's his face. Oh god, the voice of the robot.
Matt Berry.
Matt Berry. That was kind of a welcome, and then having a real Matt Berry in it again was in a flashback.
And the fact that he did the work, and then they gave him a robot, and it freaked him out because it was talking back to him in his voice.
Yeah,
I like that little touch.
Yeah, there were moments in it, and it's got me hooked because enough that I want to see the ghouls, sort of more of the ghouls, because obviously he now knows, but you don't know what happens afterwards. You don't know how he goes to doing kids' parties at the end. So there's that bit of history. Now we're going to get that because it's getting a season 2 already. It just didn't. When I heard the reviews coming through, it was like, this is meant to be like, I thought this was going to be like a really good thing, and it was okay. It wasn't amazing. Like the Brotherhood of Steel character, I just found him annoying. I didn't really. I just found him annoying. and I
It's
I just didn't really, couldn't feel anything really towards him. I mean, I felt more to Freaky Eye Girl than I did to. I kind of liked Freaky Eye Girl, except for her freaky eyes.
she
But I
had this weird optimism
yes,
in the apocalypse, which kind of find charismatic. Does that make any
yes,
sense?
yes. No, that's probably why I
Everything's
liked
gonna
her.
be fine. Everything will work out. Okie dokie.
It's probably why I liked her, and I had that thing, and I like. She was probably one of the better things in it, and the Ghoul character. I can't remember his name. Sorry. But
Walter Goggins. His name's the Ghoul in the thing. It's not.
So
He's
yeah, I enjoyed him in it. None of the Brotherhood of Steel stuff really, I mean, okay, the sort of steampunk costumes, they were cool. The armor, that was kind of cool. I like how the Ghoul defeats them though, and I like the fact that they bothered to tell you that, and you saw it in the previous story. He mentioned that he used that armor and he knew about the weakness, and he just shot straight through him. I liked that. Don't kill the fucking dog. I've got a real thing about killing dogs. But look, it got me through. It was 8 hours of somewhat entertaining TV, but I think they overused the music, they overused the crooning, and it just kept reminding me of those weird openings of, Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, where they did that sort of middle America thing. And, at times it didn't feel like you were in California. It felt like they were in Albuquerque, especially when she's in that mall. I like that center. It didn't feel like the center of, I don't know. It kept reminding me of that. But look, the vault was kind of cool. Some of the stuff in the vault, you're right about the pregnant girl with the thing in her.
stuck out in your head, didn't she?
I think
really
Betty.
did.
I think Betty is his wife. I think Betty's in on it, right? I think Betty's going to turn out to be an older version of the Ghoul's wife. But where's the daughter? That's the $1 million question. But I think Betty, the Vault sort of overseer, it's going to be.
You think it's going to be? It turns out to be his wife.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's a good point. I just thought she was in deep storage. I
mean, Betty's clearly an evil bitch, right? She starts out as somebody who's like your little grandma, right?
It's kindly old granny, yeah.
Yeah, she's like one of the three sort of like slightly quaint, slightly over optimistic characters, and like as Dweeby Son does his investigation, you're like, hang on a second, and like by that episode, you're, oh no, she's an evil bitch, and then you get that flashback to the wife, kind of, and it's her fucking idea, right, to drop the bombs. You're like, hang on a second, right? And again, Hank connection. So I'm just wondering if Betty is not Betty at all, but is actually his wife. But again, we're going to see this in season 2. They knew they were getting the season 2, so they deliberately left a lot open. I'll watch it. I'll watch it. I'm not saying this was bad. It wasn't. It certainly passed the 4-episode rule, but I wouldn't say this is my favorite thing. Considering it was by the people that made Westworld, better than Westworld season 2. No, Westworld season 1. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, they did leave out the things like the death clause. We could have done a terrifying episode where you introduced these giant, horrible monsters. It's funny because you know who voiced it, because it ends with the dad going towards New Vegas, and in the story, New Vegas is the only city that stands after the war because Mr. House knew it was coming, and Mr. House set up like a defense thing, but he couldn't put the entire thing on, so he couldn't say all of Nevada, only New Vegas and the Strip. Do you know who voiced Mr. House in New Vegas?
I did know this because I read it the other day and I've forgotten. Go on, remind me.
I can't say his name. It's Odo from
Yes,
Deep Space Nine.
yes, I knew
Does a
this.
really good job.
Yeah, Ren, Ren, or
Rennie
something. Rene something.
John.
Yes,
I can't say.
I
I'm
know
not
who you
going
mean,
to.
but I did know this. I did know this. But look, I mean, let's see. I mean, there's hints that New Vegas's backstory might not be the same as the game because there was hints that it's a Vault-Tec city, where a lot of the Vault-Tec people are as well. So I don't know if that's true, but I read that somewhere.
Robco, not
Yeah.
Vault-Tec. Robco, because
Okay.
Mr. House is Robco. So it's and he's supposed to have an army of robots stashed away in a set of his vaults. And then you've got Caesar's Legion and the NCR, which are supposed to be at each other's throats at bloody New Vegas, which kind of ruins the whole story of New Vegas. Is that you've got Caesar's Legion, so you've got a guy who has modelled his entire way of rebuilding society on the Roman Legion. Yeah, one side of the thingy, and then you've got the NCR. Yeah, New California Republic on the other side, and they've had one fight and the NCR's beat them. Yeah, the Brotherhood is still hiding in Las Vegas because they know that the NCR can beat them because there's not that many of them there. And then you've got Mr. House, who needs this little platinum chip, which will activate his army of robots. He's got an army of robots which he can't use with that platinum chip. The platinum chip was supposed to be delivered on the day the bombs fell, and it didn't come through. Who knew they used Royal Mail? So a courier is dispatched to retrieve the chip, and then Matthew Perry shoots him in the head. Matthew Perry actually shoots him in the head. It's a great game. It is a great game. The map, I don't like the map. I prefer the map in Fallout 3, but the game is great.
Which one's that? New Vegas.
New Vegas. So yes. All right. Go.
Yeah. I think my biggest criticism is the crooning songs are way overused in this. Way overused. It works in some places, but not others. The comedy, I liked the comedic vault, the vault full of sort of like, freaks, mutants. Yeah, I enjoyed that bit.
I actually got a little frustrated with that because the vaults are quite fucking sinister. All right, imagine this. Yeah, they've got one vault where they've cloned one person called Gary 300 times, and they've just left him in the vault for a couple of 100 years. It keeps getting cloned.
I think you're going to see more of that as it comes because they do hint at that. So I think this was kind of like the anti-vault. This was kind of like the comedic vault. And it worked in terms of the TV series. But you're right. Yes, there are. But I've heard that. I think you've told me that before, 300 Garys. I love the name Gary. Anyway, it was okay. It was watchable. I will leave it there.
Okay. So, Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire.
Yeah.
Now, before I read the books, I saw this in the cinema with my mate Malcolm, and we saw the midnight showing of this. And I remember being very tired at work the next day. So I watched it. We said the midnight showing of it. It was fantastic. I can't remember if I ever paid him back for the ticket. I don't think I did. I've just remembered that now, which is embarrassing. I'm hoping he's not watching. Anyway.
I might send him this.
If you owe me
Watch
15.
at 109.15.
So, shut up. Goblet of Fire. Now, before I read the books, Goblet of Fire was my favourite one because Lord Voldemort comes out and and that's when everything's getting serious and we're gonna have some proper showdowns and whatnot, and everything's gonna be, the darkness has returned, the shadows have woken up, the Empire has, got their shit together, blah blah blah, that sort of thing. And that's probably one of the reasons I like it, is the fact that it sets it all up. They kill off Cedric Diggory. I love that it goes kill the spare.
Yeah.
That expression. I've just kill the spare and just kills them and don't hang around or anything. That's great.
But it's like that in the book as well. That opening scene and that part, the film now does do well. The film does do well.
It's missing about 20 Death Eaters in the
It's
a
missing a
graveyard.
hell of a lot. It's missing a whole of really Barty Crouch's bit.
It's missing Winky.
It's missing Winky, which I'm looking forward to in the TV series.
No, I don't want Winky. Winky's horrible. Winky's
No, because
annoying.
it brings back Dobby. And you know, Hermione's whole save the fucking elves thing, which wasn't in there. I'm sorry. I know you're going to disagree with me. I don't care. Dumbledore was too fucking aggressive in there, and there is a good point when he comes in at the end, right? And
I love that bit.
No, I'm
Fucking
sorry.
love
It
that
shouldn't have
bit.
been Dumbledore. And in the book, it's not Dumbledore. He brings in some people to help him. It was too aggressive. It's too aggressive for Dumbledore. That is not.
You want
Albert.
someone to beat fucking Voldemort? Yeah, you think he's going to hold back when he's got one of the no?
That's the nuance of
passionate
it in
man.
the book. It's the nuance of it in the book. He never gets angry. He never gets over aggressive, and that's what makes him more kind of, you know, in some ways, kind of more intimidating.
No, because it kind of goes from passive to indolent sort of thing. If you know what I mean.
It didn't work for me. This is where I had a problem with Gambon, and it wasn't
Right,
the third one.
Right. Hold on a second. Did you not? Right, because you know what it reminds me of. It reminds me of Fellowship of the Ring, Balrog, Gandalf. You shall not pass. That's what he's like.
No,
which
he's
is much
not.
more. I think is no.
in the
I'm not
books.
saying
That's
in
not
the
the
book.
book. Yeah,
I'm saying. I'm not
that's
saying
what
in the
like.
books. I'm just
Yep.
saying.
Bothers
I'm
me.
just saying that's how Gambon is playing him. I prefer it because I want someone who, because he just looks like all passive and shit. Yeah, it looks like he's going to just roll over.
It bothers me, but I will say this. This is the least egregious of this because now the people that made this made all of them, right, from now on in. This is the best of the ones that they made, with the exception of probably Deathly Hallows Part 1 in terms of book tone. But I will never. Look, we are going to have to agree to disagree on the Dumbledore thing. What's his face as Mad Eye Moody was brilliant and perfect.
Gleason. I can't remember his name.
Yeah,
Donald Gleason's his son. I can't remember his.
Yeah.
No, Donald was his son.
But he's fantastic in this. As Mad Eye Moody, I really genuinely like him. There are things that they do really, really well. The house scene at the beginning they do really well. The return of Voldemort they do quite well. Kill the Spare, yeah, that's so powerful and fantastic. I don't like the maze at the end. Again, this comes down.
There's no blast-ended Scroot, Sphinx, or some other bits in there. I can't remember.
But I know why you liked this film, and I know when you first watched it why you enjoyed this film. And actually watching it again today, I was like, you know what? I'm glad we're doing this because now that I've watched this again, despite my dislike of Gambon as Dumbledore, I genuinely quite liked this film. I like the argument between Ron, and that works. I like it. Just needed to be longer. They almost focus on too long on bits that didn't need focusing on, and not enough on other bits. But again, you know, how do you do a book like that? Because there's a lot that happens in the Goblet of Fire, far more than any of the other ones. And whilst the fifth book could have done with a hell of a lot of editing, the fourth book was actually really good because it moved, but there was a lot in the fourth book. There was a lot in the fourth book, and the films misses some of it that I wish they'd done. But having said that, I do like the bit where Voldemort comes back. I think that was well done.
They did cut out a lot. So it's really most of it at the beginning. One, the fucking burrows. Yeah, where the fuck? Pardon my language. Where the fuck is the burrows? Because it changes. It's by a stream in this film. Okay, it's by a stream. It wasn't by a stream last time. It's by a stream, so they can walk up follow the stream up to the boot. So you've got that. You've got the bit where you've got the Death Eaters attacking the Muggles on the farm, which they keep obliviating. So they've got some poor farmer and his missus, and they keep obliviating his memory while they're having this massive party on his land. They cut out the fact that the Vila come out at the stadium, and that's the first time the boys see the girls like that. They go, ooh, cue Rebecca Ferguson video. So you got that, and you got the fact that Victor Crumb finishes the game off quite sportingly on the thingy, which is done. I can understand that. Then they cut out the bit where you've got Winky because she's got Barty Crouch Jr. in the booth with them. They're sharing the booth with the Minister of Magic, not the Malfoys. Yeah, okay, I think the Malfoys are there in the thing, but they don't appreciate it. You've got those bits in there. What's it? Dobby gives the gillyweed to Harry, not to Neville, which I think it makes more sense to let Neville do it, because Neville needs some redeeming features. Otherwise, he's just going to be perceived as crap all the way through. So you got those bits there. You got the bit of blast-ended Scroots, but he's been Hagrid's been breeding blast-ended Scroots, which, if you go on the ride at Universal, you get to see what a blast-ended Scroot looks like, and it's the only time I've ever seen a blast-ended Scroot. It's a lovely callback to the books, whilst having it kind of in the film kind of area. You got that. You've got the whole kind of adolescence thing where they're all getting all hormonal and stuff like that.
And that was done
You've
well.
got
On
Jarvis
the film.
Cocker. Cocker as there's a band guy, and
I was watching it today and I thought it sounds a bit American, and that's weird for Jarvis Cocker. I don't know. It reminded me. I don't know if I was listening to it right. I was busy doing something whilst I was watching that bit, actually, or had that bit on. But no, I mean, Jarvis Cocker being there was cool enough. Definitely as one of the weird sisters. I liked that. I thought that was kind of well done.
Do you know why the hair is so big for the boys in it?
No.
Okay, so before they start filming on any Harry Potter film, they will always ask, grow your hair out, and then we will sit down with the hairstylist and we'll work out what haircut you're going to have for the entire film. The director forgot this and just thought that's how they had their hair. And that's why the boys have massive hair, because they never got it cut. Did you not know that?
No, I didn't know that.
I love that. They didn't like the director. The director apparently was the right dick. So
was this not David
Yates?
Yates?
Come back. No, it's not David Yates. Who is it?
Okay.
I can't remember who it is. It's not David Yates. But yeah. Oh, crikey. So, you had that. What was the other one? The other thing I like too, if you watch back, there's a great bit where the Barty Crouch Jr. reveal, where Doctor Who turns up, basically. And there's a bit where Dumbledore goes, "Oh, Severus, we know who's been stealing supplies from your what's it, cabinet, yeah? Look at the reaction between him and Daniel Radcliffe, where you got him as Harry Potter going, what do you mean?" It's just great because you see Alan Rickman does that.
The thing is, I actually thought Rickman was brilliant in this. Subtle, but always there and always present. I was set up to have a massive, argument with you about this one, and actually, I kind of enjoyed it watching it today. I kind of enjoyed it. I'm never gonna like Gambon as Dumbledore, but look, I get why you guys do, and I respect that. I'm gonna be. I am worried about this TV series, but at the same time, I'm interested because, again, there are things that were cut out that I do want to see on film. So really, we are now into the territory where, with the exception of Order of the Phoenix, that certainly the three of the last four would benefit from the long format far more.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
the guy who directed it was a guy called Mike Newell.
Okay.
He directed 4 Weddings and a Funeral.
There could. It's very English in places. The opening is very English. And oh no, that's the 5th one. I'll take that back. I started watching the 5th one. But The thing about the fourth book is it builds throughout the whole book because you know what's going on, and it's ever present in the book, and it's going to be interesting if they do this in the TV series because that's where this could benefit from the TV series. But I worry about the TV series because of when it's been made, but we will see. We will see, but actually, I enjoyed this more. It's funny how films we look back on. You know, when we were doing the Star Trek movie, the movies that we thought were good, we ended up not liking as much, and the movies that we thought were terrible were actually more enjoyable than we thought they were. And again, I think because I'd had such a problem with Dumbledore the first time, I wasn't able to really truly appreciate everything else around the film. And understand where you're coming from a bit. And I was able to do that today because I was expecting it. And therefore I let that go and watched everything else with that mindset so that I could talk about it tonight and enjoyed it more. There are problems with it, but it does some things very, very well. And Voldemort is well cast. Voldemort was really well cast.
What's his mush? Ralph Fiennes. He's Ralph Fiennes, but
yeah.
he's boring. Ralph Fiennes is boring, and Ralph Fiennes is more interesting. Was thrilled that he didn't have to put makeup on to have his nose removed, because he was like, kind of, oh my god, how am I going to take my nose off? He doesn't have red eyes.
No, but
In the
again,
books, he has red eyes.
Again, that's something they can do in the TV series. I mean, you know, Rowling's heavily involved in the TV series, as she damn well should be. And I mean, I'm glad that she's come out this week and basically told Emma Watson and Daniel Radcliffe to go get fucked, which I thought was genuinely brilliant.
Rightfully fucking so.
Yes, rightfully so. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm behind J.K. Rowling, and I think people have treated her incredibly badly.
For me, I don't like J.K. Rowling, yeah, but she's allowed her own fucking opinion, yeah, and she's not killing anyone by having that opinion, and we disagree on quite a few things, but she can have those opinions. But like I can have my opinion, like you can have your fucking opinion. That's the mind-blowing thing. It causes harm to have an opinion that exists only up here in your head.
I
It's
understand.
A thought crime.
I agree with you. I agree with you about her and your why you don't like her. I'm with you mostly on that as for once, but I'm behind her on this. And the thing that really, really does bother me is she is a survivor of sexual abuse, right? And people are forgetting that in their mistreatment. It is a very misogynistic the way they're treating her, and this is what the trans movement is like. It's very misogynistic. Irony there, but they forget that she is a victim of this, and that has an effect on you. And she doesn't deserve this. Look, we can criticize her for her ridiculous politics, but she doesn't deserve this kind of level of vitriol. And she is responsible for Emma Watson and Daniel, what's his face's careers, and those two little fuckheads just ran away. And I was critical at the time how quick they were to put the knife in, and how nobody ever thinks about these kind of things. So fuck them. And I'm glad that J.K. Rowling said, went back to fan. No, I'm not going to forgive them. Fuck off. Yeah, good for you, dear. Good for you. We're coming. We'll do the fifth one next week. And that's going to be an interesting one because this has some of the best casting, and and the character in this. I've never hated someone so much as I hate this character, and it's perfectly done. And I hate her in the right way. I'm giving it away, but it's done.
What do you call it? We're giving away. Oh, it's been like years since it first came out.
Yeah.
But
we'll talk about that next week. I don't want to get into the conversation, but I hated her in the book, and I hate her on screen, and she was fucking amazing. So, The voice, she nailed the voice. We'll talk about it next week. We're going to get into spoilers for the conversation next week. But no, you're right about the fourth film. We spoke about this the other day, and you were right. So no, thank you for that. I enjoyed it. And I think from now, it's going to be interesting from now on in. Because I'll watch the fifth one again, and I think I'll end up liking that more. The sixth one is a filler, and it's not a filler book. So anyway, we'll put a pin in there and talk about that next week.
Okay, thank you very much for washing. Thank you very much for watching. We can't smell you, but we appreciate the fact that you tried. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for listening, and we will catch you next week. Say goodbye, Keith.
Goodbye, Keith.
Bye-bye.